then people started coming out and putting their huts up and showing them that we're determined to come back. This is our home. You chased us away. You burnt us out for what? You're talking about mining and nothing ever happened. I don't think there was a proper reason behind that removal, you know?
All right, let's talk about the history of Mapoon and this stretch of coastline here in the west coast, the Gulf of Carpentaria. Well, at least up here at the top half. Now, for thousands of years, Aboriginal tribes, several Aboriginal tribes called this stretch of coastline home, right? So, you know, they'd moved through here seasonally to different parts, you know, whether it was coastal or inland or river or hunting and gathering different things and passing on that knowledge about this land and their culture, passing that down generation to generation for thousands of years.
My name's Dollar Nixon, Delora really, but got the name Dollar playing pool many moons ago, and it stuck. Yeah, I'm from Warranggu clan group, across the Namalita and this garden. That's all our area. My apical is what they call Mamus Mark, M-A-M-M-U-S Mark. His surname was Mark. Mamus meaning chief. Chief Mark. From over there. My grandmother's from Pennyfather. My mum was born here. Got married to my dad, who is a Torres Strait Islander. I love him.
That's a big one here, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Nice, yeah. I hope so.
You getting them on bait?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Slab of
Slab of
mate.
bait.
Yeah, slab, bro.
That's a glass out, mate. This is magic. So we're going to head out around that point, eh?
Around that point and up the west coast there.
Up the west coast.
Yep, towards Barramundi there.
He's come to steal your fish.
Oh, no, maybe 3 or 4 minutes now.
So you really got to... It's not real thick, that line, hey?
No, it is.
Oh, it is?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
That one, they are couldn't with the thin line. So, yeah, I was
okay.
lucky.
Something
Yeah.
called Warranggu.
Yeah. I
But you really got to play the fish, eh?
Yeah.
Or you'll lose it.
Just to work the
yeah.
Yeah, my mum went from here to TI to have me. She went to the hospital then. There was no doctor on TI. There was only an anthropologist. So they called him in. So I was delivered by a professor of anthropology.
What do you got these for? Looks like it, yeah. It's a good one. Got him.
That's him.
All right, we're out in the boat. So who we got on board today? Everyone introduce yourselves.
Myself, Eli. Kel, Eli's son.
Eli's son?
And then you got Uncle Shorty.
Jason.
Jason. Oh, thanks for having us out, fellas. Thanks for taking me out.
No, all good, brother, all good.
So in Mapoon, what are we chasing? A bit of fish, stingray, just anything?
Yeah, whatever we come across.
Yeah?
Try and
Mudcrab?
get ourselves a feed
Alright.
and see how we go.
So pretty much anything that pops up. It wasn't until, I think it was 1891, that the missionaries came. There was a missionary by the name of Nicholas Hay. He was only in Australia for about 5 months down in Melbourne before he actually came through Thursday Island and down to this area, Chunginji country we're in right now, to begin this mission, to start this mission. So no idea about this country that we're walking on, no idea about its native people, First Nations people here, but you know, to preach God and to preach Christianity. That's a pretty wild river. There's a lot of different arms going off, hey?
Yeah.
A lot of this story that I'm sharing with you guys comes from a lot of research I've done. You know, I've travelled thousands of kilometres throughout Cape York and over many years and putting these jigsaw pieces together. So it all kind of connects. You have to understand that, and some of the stories come from locals, from elders who have had these stories passed down and now handed on to me. But how it all connects, you remember the story about the Jardine brothers. I won't go into that, but the Jardine brothers came up in the 1860s, 1863 or something it was, that they settled in Somerset, well, they called it Somerset. The local name, the Gudang name for that area was Pulu, and a very sacred area for the Gudang people. That was to be established as a port for Australia, and like a huge port back in those days, and it eventually shifted to Thursday Island. So Thursday Island had a lot of significance to the Queensland government in those days.
Yeah, let's go.
I reckon a rocky point there.
Oh, yeah.
Out the front. There you go, yeah.
Yeah, something's coming out through there.
Got him! On! Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
You saw that, didn't you? Whatever it was.
I think that other one was a small croc. It came out of that mango.
That bubble line.
There.
This one, big queenie.
Kill. Alright. I'll help you out with it, mate.
You got a spirit?
Yeah, this is what
Does this mean?
Scoop.
Does this mean numbers?
Yeah. You seen him take off a big
Yeah,
feeling.
big queenie. He come up and hit it. I didn't even.
Let him go, this is the namas.
Yeah. Might be even roast up around the corner.
Serious.
Oh, he's a big one. Look at that. So that's the local technique, eh? Of netting a fish.
Nice. Yeah, baby.
That's all good. That's what it's for. Look at that. That's a big queenie.
Big numbers.
Yeah.
We got something.
That's it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Get out of it. Oh.
Good one.
You.
On. We're actually going to put this little guy back. It's closed Barramundi season for me. So we're going to head back?
Yeah, we're gonna head back.
See all the kids?
See all the kids, yeah. But instead of going back to where we launched,
Yeah.
we're gonna go back straight to the center of town. There's a bit back
Okay.
over there.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's town straight across there, and then it goes up the
Straight across
Wenlock.
there, up the Wenlock is that way. And then where we launched the boat back down at Cullen Point, just around the corner, you know.
Okay.
And then straight over there now.
All right.
For us.
And what, are we going to have a cook up or do that namas or something?
Yeah, I reckon we'll cook up, do some namas, have a cool off at the splash park.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Let the kids go crazy seeing wild reaches here in Mapoon.
Okay. There was a man by the name of John Douglas who was like the government resident on Thursday Island, up there in the Torres Strait Islands. He suggested that we need missions. We need missions set up along the west coast in the Gulf of Carpentaria to prevent. He was getting a lot of reports of abuse from abusing Aboriginal men in the fishing industry, basically bringing them on board and treating them like slaves, I suppose, leaving them on islands if they weren't performing, things like that. So he wanted basically stations set up to monitor this whole process. So that's when the missionaries came in, and they decided that Mapoon was a good area to have that first mission. It eventually there was a second mission in Weipa about 5 or 6 years later, and then a third mission in 1904, I think it was, down on the Archer River, which is Aurukun, to this day, present day Aurukun. In 1891, these two families, the Hay family, Nicholas Hay, and the Ward family, came into Mapoon and started the mission. In those early days, they brought in people from all different tribes. It was on Chunginji country, but like the guys we're with today, Jase and Eli, Warranggu Men, which was on the other side of the river up towards the Skarden. So all these different tribes, people came into the mission.
Namalita, my grandfather's area, there's a place just on the side, on the juicy Namalita side, the place called Richinana. And the kids asked me one day what that meant. Was there a meaning? And I said, well, I actually asked my mum that many moons ago, and she told me the story about it. So my grandfather, Mark, was over there, and there's people up this way, living up in the Wenlock area, and then there's people down here. Now, this mob had a funeral going, or a wedding, well, a funeral, let's say a funeral. They'd light a big fire using, making sure that the smoke came out black, and you use the bottom part of the tea tree with the swamp mud in it, and it makes black smoke. He sees it over there, then he lights the same sort of fire to put those people over there to see, to let them know there's a funeral in Mapoon or vice versa, and gives them a week to travel. And the same with weddings, they send up white smoke. So the language name for that place is Richinana, meaning messenger. So my grandpa was a messenger. I said, yeah, these days you can get service over there now.
So let's look at a very quick history of Australia, because it's all going to circle back and come to Mapoon. So in 1770, James Cook sailed up the east coast of Australia, and when he got to the very tip of Cape York, he apparently stuck a flag into Possession Island and claimed that Australia comes under the British Empire, right? He claimed Australia as terra nullius, which is land belonging to no one. But the truth of the matter is there were hundreds of tribes living on Australia and the islands surrounding it. These tribes are like nations. So there's basically hundreds of nations living here on Australia, with language, with their own law, their own intricate law, their own spirituality and customs and culture, and that basically got swept under the rug. So the government now owns that land, and they'd leased that land out to pastoralists. So let's say a station owner comes in, fences off a big section of Chunginji country. That land is now his, right? And the tribes that lived there their ancestors been there for thousands of years are now displaced. And if they come through there hunting, cause any trouble, they're shot on the spot. There was no, especially up here, imagine this place back in those days. Mapoon in the year 1900 was then classed as a reformatory school. An act to provide for the establishment of industrial and reformatory schools, whereas it is expedient to provide for the care and custody of neglected and convicted children and to prevent the commission of crime by young persons. Every boy and girl under the age of 15 years shall be deemed to be a child within the meaning and the purpose of this Act. Every child who answers to any of the descriptions hereinafter mentioned shall be deemed to be a neglected child. Any child found begging or receiving alms or being in any street or public place for the purpose of begging or receiving alms. Any child who shall be found wandering about or frequenting any street or thoroughfare, tavern or place of public resort or sleeping in the open air. Any child who shall reside in any brothel or associate or dwell with any person known or reputed to be a thief, prostitute or drunkard. Any child who, having committed an offence punishable by imprisonment. Any child whose parent represents that he wishes him to be sent to an industrial school. Any child who at the time of the passing of this Act or at any subsequent period may be or become an inmate of any benevolent asylum. Any child born of an Aboriginal or half-caste mother.
You'll just cut straight across, grab them three from school, eh?
What's the deal here with children, families being so close to water with crocodiles?
Yeah, I think most parents don't let their kids come down unless there is a supervised adult with them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, my crew will get in trouble if they come by themselves.
Yeah,
so
okay.
It usually be the case, people will get in trouble. But if there's an uncle or aunt, swimming down here, chilling, fishing, at least someone keeps an eye on them.
Because it seems like life here in Mapoon is on the water. Like all your hunting and, or not all your hunting, your ducks and channel and all that inland.
So for me, I'd rather be out on the water.
Yeah.
I love being out on the water.
Oh, look at the bacon busted up in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the bait go in there and then... Yeah.
Come down with a cast net. You have people everywhere along the beach here with cast nets.
And is there a different time of year to chase different things, like you were saying, those prawns? And...
Yeah, most things seasonal here with us.
Yeah.
It's not like anywhere else, like you can just go and they're always there.
Yeah, okay.
Like bream now, I think we have to go like Scarden, up the rivers like there. When we usually get them at Point, that's around August, September. You can scoop them in a net or throw a cast net over and catch 20.
Oh. Yeah, right. So there's a certain time of year where you're eating lots of that. And,
Most of our things are seasonal. Same with Jugon. Jugon's only now and again thing here for us. I'm just gonna anchor here. We'll walk beside Granny Dawn. There you go up home, eh?
All right, round two. We just jumped out of the boat, and Eli does a bit of youth work, works with the kids up here in Mapoon, so we're going to get there by 3 o'clock apparently, and we're going to go to the splash park or something, like the water park, have this queen fish with the kids and run around, have a bit of fun. And then I think tomorrow I'm going to come back out and go for a hunt tomorrow as well. Oh, there's my car. Yeah. Jase has spotted a good mango. Oh,
That one's for you, like
go.
mamas.
Oh yeah? Mango and the mamas. Yeah, look at that one up there. He's done this before. Alright, so we're down here at some kind of community centre. Mapoon, we've got a splash park over there. I've noticed a few of the communities now have these splash parks, which is so cool for the kids. I don't know when the kids are coming, they must all be at school, but That's the plan for the afternoon. Just hang out with the kids, cool off in the shade, in that water. And pretty sure Eli's going to make queen fish nummus. Should be yum.
Little fish in the pool now!
Yeah, how good's this? I thought this was for the kids.
Hey?
I thought this was for the kids.
Nah, we always end up here.
That's what makes Mapoon and a lot of other missions communities so special, is that this used to be just Chunginji country. So Mapoon out there on the point was Chunginji country and that was it. Now there's all these children that came in. Like at one stage there were 40-something boys and 20-something girls, or the other way around. Like a lot of children from all around the place, let alone the children, the Chunginji children that were already living there. So, you know, these days in Mapoon there are descendants of all different tribes.
There was a lot of stolen generation people went through here. My mum used to go to school with a few of them, and she had a couple of good friends. She'd tell us stories about them going across to Namalita on the Jage Ward, the boat, and picnic over there and then come back over. And then on the weekends, different families would take a different child and look after them for the weekend. And yeah. And then those people now, they feel a connection to that. You know. Well, there's people up the road who came back, who went to school here when they were little, grew up here. They went away and do stock work and stuff like that. But they've always come back. This was home. You know? It's the only home they ever knew. And then they came back with their children. And then they got grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
Couple of mangoes.
Yeah, a couple of mangoes to go into nummus.
Remember that one
Yeah,
you worked
chili,
on?
bro.
He was telling me him and
Chili. Gotta have the chili, onion,
mackerel boat, that's right.
the soy sauce.
Turmeric? Yeah. Turmeric, them two, right?
Yeah.
They
And
were,
that's what
yeah.
cooks it, eh? The vinegar.
Yeah.
I can see it happening already.
Yep.
So it happens real quick, eh?
Yeah. Give me a stonefish
But
nummus one day.
Stonefish, but you can just leave it, can't you? Like
Yeah, you
leave
can
it
leave it.
overnight if you wanted to.
Some people just like to smash it straight after you pour the vinegar in. Secret recipe.
We'll just blur this bit out.
Nah, it's okay. We're gonna put that sugar in here. Go eat that.
Yeah, that much?
You see why I done that then once you taste it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a couple of... Well, which one's the Hilux one?
It's a flavour, sensation, it's like explosions. You got that chili, yeah, the vinegar,
The
sweet,
that sugar in.
yeah.
The sugar in. Yeah.
Oh, that's delicious.
The one you outlaw.
You probably got
4 sets of that.
Well, look, I'll hit the good side.
So now you've got this clan of families, right? You've got men, you've got women, you have children, you have grandmothers, the whole lot. The men are all just killed there on the spot. The women are left here in tears, their children are taken. Let's say they've got 4 children, they're taken to Cherbourg, they're taken to Yarrabah, Palm Island and up here to Mapoon. They're completely spread out, they're taken off country and they've lost the rest of their siblings. And then when they go to these missions, this is how it all comes back to Mapoon, when they're taken to these missions, they're not allowed to, they're stripped of their language, they're stripped of their culture, the whole lot. If they speak a language, they get flogged. So that's why these days, this is why it all comes back and it's relevant now. That's why these days Aboriginal people are trying to get their language back. They're trying to get parts of their culture back because all they have is a part of it. They don't have the whole thing because, well, some people do, but especially in the cities, they don't have like pretty much any of their culture. So it's all practicing culture. It's like hunting, you know, making artifacts, spears, boomerangs, all that didgeridoos, the yidaki, all that dancing, singing, all these things are practicing a part of a culture. It's all these things that make up, you know, if culture's a circle, you've got all these parts that make up that circle, and it's so important for Aboriginal people to be allowed to do that. This Reverend Hay, the missionary there in Mapoon, I don't understand to the full extent how much Aboriginal culture he allowed to be practiced there in Mapoon. I did read that he learnt the language, or was doing his best to learn the local language. So I imagine he would have allowed language to be spoken. But he only stayed there until 1919, and then other missionaries came through and kept leaving until 1955-ish, when at that stage Comalco, which was a mining company, had its hands on Weipa. Right, now Weipa's only about 90 kilometres south, roughly, of Mapoon, and to this present day it is a huge mine. It's Rio Tinto, but back in those days it was Comalco. And Comalco had that area and it had its eyes on Mapoon. Now this is all government land, right, because it had been taken from the Aboriginal people. So by that stage the good Reverend Hay had left, but everyone was practicing Christianity, or most people practicing Christianity. It's a beautiful community. You all right, boy? So there were plans happening to take this land out from under them and move the Mapoon people off their country. And by 1964, this had happened.
And just before the burning, I think it was a year before the burning, when I turned 10, 62, my dad packed us up and took us back to the outer islands, back to St. Paul's.
Because of what was happening, because they wanted everyone out?
There was no information come through on that they were coming. They just rocked up with guns. But my dad, I don't know whether he got a premonition or he got word of blokes on the boat from TI, cargo boats and that something, there was a rumble in the jungle, and he decided to get his family out.
Good morning, guys. We are at it again, just down the local shop, filling up with some fuel, getting a few supplies, and we're going to hit the water and going up the coast today while the wind's nice. And then this afternoon we're talking about going chasing magpie geese and more freshwater turtles, so today's going to be a mixed bag. Also got the hook for diving on turtle, some spearing gear for spearing, like diving these reefs for crayfish, and hopefully shoot a fish. So see you, mate, have a good day.
Yeah, you too, mate.
I think it's all going to happen today. Stick around.
Out
and about.
Family.
So, boys, what's the plan today?
Mate, we'll be heading up to Jackson and see if we can land some big skonkers up there.
Nice.
And there's a bloody marker, probably a K or two offshore, just after Martha's Garden there. Try to see if we can land some big Jews.
Yeah, that's where we got the big rods in, eh?
Yes, we got some big rigs today.
We kind of got everything. Got dive gear, big rods,
Whatever,
the turtle boy.
whatever comes our way today, and the opportunity of doing it, we'll do it.
Okay.
I don't know where you came from, but this road is yours to trail, made to mold into to a song that's sung before your day. So you found the beat, the melody, the words to
Holy. That's massive. That's not what I expected when you told me. I thought you meant like a little one.
Right on the edge of this boat here.
Yeah, it's Queenie or something there. But there's a big black one over there. Might be a GT or something. Oh, there's a heap of Queenies in here.
Oh.
Yeah. What's this big one? He must be a trevally or a shark. Big black giant trevally, I reckon. Oh, on his head! Go, 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 go! You're gonna get him! Oh, go, 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 go! Shit!
Which one you like the most? Come on.
He doesn't know what to do. There's something in here. Is that a shark? Right in front of the bow now. Or a stingray?
Stingray.
It's not that tukmul, is it?
Come on.
Is it?
Not whitetail. Whitetail.
Changai.
Have they got those white dots on them?
No.
No?
Changai.
Chungai.
Whitetail.
So how long do you reckon this thing's been here? A year or so.
Last big
Big old fishing vessel from Indonesia or something by the look of it. Have a go at this thing. I hope everyone was alright. Fiberglass. Oh, it'd be so good to get inside it and have a look around. When the boys told me, when Eli told me about it, I thought he meant it was like a, you know, like the size of a dugout kind of thing, but it's, there's obviously crocodiles here, so I don't want to face my back to the water, but I want to see in there so bad. Boys are over here chasing barramundi on the snags. This time of year, they're normally at the mouth of all these river systems and they're breeding. There's a lot of them, and that's why for non-Indigenous Australians, it's actually closed barramundi season, so I'm not chasing barra today. I'm going to look for mangrove jack, these trevally, queenfish, that kind of thing. I'm sure there'll be bycatch of barramundi. I can't do anything about that. And if I'm just catching heaps of them, I'll stop fishing, but it's pretty cool to see these fellas hunt them. Now, Aboriginal people, Aboriginal tribes, nations of all across coastal regions of Australia, or actually all across Australia, have different seasons for different hunting different species, different animals, and it's normally, you know, for ease. When you're not hunting for fun, you're hunting for food like their ancestors have forever. You'll obviously be chasing, I think they're on. You'll obviously be chasing a certain species when it's easier to catch. So when the barramundi are at these mouths breeding and they're easy to get. Is he on? What's he got?
It's just full of little bazzers.
You'd be hunting different species when they're on. So like for us, it's closed barramundi season, but you know, for First Nations people, that's when you want to hunt these fish, when there's plenty of them. You want a spear? Did he brick you, did he? He took you into the snags?
Yeah, but it's still sitting here.
Oh, there's a few of them. Holy, look at that.
Oh, I just popped him off.
Ah, there's like 4 of them there.
Around me, look, down here. Oh, whoa!
Jeez, we just got here when you got lunch.
Lunch is served, boys.
Yeah, the flyers, bro.
Yeah, I'll grab them. So slowly they brought in lies saying that the water was going to run out, the water's no good, the soil's no good, and your vegetables and plants that you've been taught to grow aren't going to, they're not going to produce. Eventually, and people started to move on, were taken up to a place called New Mapoon. Back in those days it was Hidden Valley, which is up near Bamaga in Goodung country, out to the islands, Thursday Island, Bardu, out that area.
Well, some were moved to, it was Whipper South then, which is now Napradom, the proper language name. And the rest went up, some went up to New Mapoon. And then the blokes, the boys, young guns who were married then or found work in stations outside of Mapoon, they took their families away before the burning. And I think there was, and you'll see Jeff Wharton's report, that there was 24 families on the beach waiting to be put on boats to be removed. My mum's sister, two sisters, went to Whipper South, and her brother was taken, and his family taken to New Mapoon. I think back then it was called Hidden Valley. It changed the name a couple of times before it got to New Mapoon. People were just scattered,
So we're going to go look at this spot over here, secret spot for turtle. That's the first stop, and then this is a beautiful river.
And then that little island there is where we're going fishing behind after this.
The wap's coming out. So most wops I see are pretty much the same. They use bamboo because it floats.
This one's a bit... Then this will make him work.
Shoot. Stay up front there, in.
And then the big heavy tip on it for driving it into the water. And this is how you... Is that a tartar? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, tartar.
So there's a piece of metal in there, yeah?
Yeah.
That hits against the back of that.
Just to make it firm in here. There we go. Ready
That's
to
it.
roll.
But in the end, 1964 it was, that there were a few families left, and they were standing strong. They wanted to stay there on their traditional country. They were actually forcibly taken out of their homes by gunpoint and held as the homes were burnt to the ground, and then they were taken by a boat up to New Mapoon.
They don't want the bombers, man. I'm getting rid of this bomber.
This guy?
They want this fella.
He went first class.
Yeah, this cake.
Ah, come on.
Hey, what's your food?
There they are.
Jesus.
You got one? Beautiful little barra. Straight back in the drink.
Looking good. What do you mean they don't want to hit the bomber? I love it.
Those gold bombers they were. Almost as good as a slim twitcher. These are nice ones. Oh! Oh, this is fun. Gotta be a jack in here somewhere. Oh! That just landed in his mouth. Yes, you're out, you're out. Jase is on, he's got one. Get him, get him, get him. Yes! He's got him, Ellie. Oh! Jim! Oh!
Reeling too.
He was a good one.
Yeah.
So this stretch of river through here, there's apparently lots of seagrass on the floor. And when we were fishing for those barramundi before, a big clump of grass floated past, and Eli said that, look there, that means either dugong or turtle, have been in here feeding, and that's just, you know, floats to the surface and goes downstream. So it's a good sign that there's critters in here ready to hunt. The boys just cleaned up on a few barramundi. I reckon there's probably 8 in the esky. And yesterday afternoon we went back to Jase's mum's place, and she told me a few stories from the old days, and she cooked us some long-necked turtle that Eli got the day before or something like that, and it was absolutely delicious. And we said to her we'd bring her some fish today, so that's why we got some barramundi for dinner for the boys tonight. And now we're looking for turtle by the look of it. What are you seeing over there?
Turtle and dugong putting over there.
So what's the process here?
Well, I'm sure it will spear either the dugong or turtle. Dugong will have to second shot it. Turtle will jump and hook him then. Jump out with the hook. Hook him around the neck.
For the second, so you whop it and then...
Yeah, with the whop, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Spear him first one. Turtle will hook him then. But if it's a dugong, you just second shot it.
Okay.
And tail it, drown it.
And like where you're taking the boat, are we in the deep water and you're hoping to bring them up onto that shallow flat?
Yeah, or we're just at the right mark to catch them coming off the way back into the deep.
Okay.
Turtle. Look. Let that thing go, boy.
Is that dugong or turtle?
Turtle. Come on, hook it onto my clean.
Dancing. No, hold on.
Holy shit. What is it? Taking off, yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, what a wild process. This is amazing.
Nice young one.
2, 3. So it's a big green turtle.
Yo. Lunchtime. Hey, what's your fishing rod? Fishing rod.
Back part behind.
Oh,
Right there.
And be stuck or something.
That's the tata. Absolutely crazy. That's a whole nother world.
And in the early 70s, people started coming back. Like I told you, one family in their boat, they just had a bonwood dinghy, used a sail for a sheet and sailed back from Indigenous back to, he wanted to come home. When the Rio Tinto put the bridge in place, that was 1970. 71, I think, because my daughter was 1 year old. People started coming back. A family actually walked back from there. It took them 3 days to get back to Mapoon, but they wanted to come home. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4 families living here at that time. 3 down the beach area and 1 here. Then people started coming out and putting their huts up and showing them that we're determined to come back. This is our home. You chased us away. You burnt us out for what? You're talking about mining and nothing ever happened. I don't think there was a proper reason behind that removal, you know.
A lot of good people from Mapoon from that point fought the government, as I find everywhere I go up here, to get their traditional land back and to stay there, to live on their traditional country.
We'll be running this kind. We have to fly this kind inside, back. Yeah, of course. We'll be running this kind, Mark, and I have to spin it. Go in. That's all right, the photo. Hey, football.
Football?
Oh, football. Wait. Big spear. Hey, look at the shore going. Look at that side.
Tukmo, which is a big file stingray.
Yeah,
You're right, you go.
Go outside from it. Oh, yeah. One for me. That was being first.
Got in.
Oh, we have a crocodile. Yeah, that's him.
Wait, face.
Big Queenie.
I got him.
Oh, he's fat too.
Yeah.
Good spotting.
Cleaning up on all type of feed.
Yeah. We got a feeder, right? Yeah, I've done that once before. I want to make a big single. I've got a big 8mm barb. I'm going to make one big single one for
I got
stingray.
heaps of them old spear gun ones too.
Oh yeah, there to go.
I got a few there.
Old stingray, because they got these really rough, like really rough skin. And they cut you up too. That's what you were saying, eh? You were worried.
I didn't want to grab it because it's good size. I never move.
Yeah.
I already got a cut on my hand.
They can knock you around.
Look at big salmon. Look at the size of the salmon.
Oh yeah, it is too.
Blue salmon.
It's going to be delicious.
It's going to be delicious.
Yeah. That's it, eh? When they're pink, they got that nice fat.
Look at the bottom.
People whose houses got burnt down, I mean, it took them forever to work, buy their nails and iron sheeting and whatever, and have it bought from TI, and then they build their place, and then have someone come and burn you down. Then when the government decided building houses in communities, they didn't even think to compensate these people that were burnt out. My grandmother's house was one of them. Yeah.
So by 1974, 10 years later, some families were that, distraught about what had happened, and they just weren't happy that they started really trying to come back. And by 1974, that was that first movement where families actually came back here on country, and everything was good. There was water, so all these lives were uncovered. The water was fine, the soil was fine, and still to this day they're living here, and they're hunting and living with the land harmoniously, and hunting those rivers and the ocean sustainably, and still practicing their culture. And it's a beautiful thing to see, and that's what Wild Reaches is all about, is going to these places and uncovering this dark history and talking about it, because that is so important. Getting that conversation happening around Australia, and showcasing their culture, showcasing their way of life here, and this beautiful country that we're all calling home.
This is one of the most laid-back places I've been to, and I ain't leaving, you know. And this is home.
All right, guys, that is going to be a wrap for another episode. What a day. What a couple of days. I'm sorry I've got to split this episode into two because we've done so much. So, you know, being out there on the water, a big part of Mapoon is hunting, you know, obviously on the water because they have so much of it, surrounded by these beautiful rivers and that ocean in the Gulf of Carpentaria, but also hunting for magpie geese and rendi, I think it's called, rindi or rendi, which is long-necked turtle, the language name for long-necked turtle. But just to be there and be not a part of, but to witness the boys hunt that turtle in the river and see how many turtles were in there, and also all that grass in the river. I've never looked through that lens and even seen that there's grass in the rivers up here, which was really cool. There was so much of it, like these beds of grass, and to see the dugong in there feeding as well. Very cool stuff. The next episode we're going out to, which is this afternoon, we're going to go out and chase magpie geese and these long-necked turtle, and then we're going to have a big cook-up. My family's going to come up and we're going to have a big cook-up back at Eli's place and cook all these things you saw. So the tukmul, the barramundi, the turtle, and then hopefully whatever we catch this afternoon. But big shout out to Eli and to Jase. But Eli has a YouTube channel and Instagram page called Out and About, I think 4874 on the end, so make sure you check that out. You don't have to watch Wild Reaches to see his adventures. He's out quite often, actually all the time. He's on the water hunting. So that's a wrap. Make sure you get your merch, wildreaches.com/shop. Get your merch there. We got fishing shirts that you saw me in this episode. Great shirts. I'm absolutely loving them. Shout out to Nikki from Injerva. She did the design on the sleeve of the new fishing shirts. What else have I got to say? Thank you to all the Chunginji people. Right now I'm sitting on Chunginji country, Chunginji traditional land. The other side of the river there I think is called Warranggu. I might have got that wrong, but Warranggu, Jase and Eli's ancestors from that side of the river. But you got to remember that I'm sitting right here at the Mapoon, the old site of Mapoon Mission, and in the mission days, hopefully I've gone over this in this episode and in the next episode, telling you guys the full story. I have a lot of reading to do and more interviews to really understand what happened. But basically, back in those mission days, children were brought here from all around Queensland, right down the Gulf of Carpentaria, off cattle stations, out of other communities, whatever, were brought to here. So this mission has, yes, it's Chunginji country, but there are so many, you know, now 150 more actually, about 150 years of, 150 years later, there's a lot of different people with different tribal backgrounds. So a lot of different nations living in here, right through to the Torres Strait Islands, the connection out there. But this is Chunginji country, and I want to thank the Chunginji people and your elders, and past and present, for having me here on country, for allowing me to come in here and bring everyone on YouTube into here to show your beautiful country and to share your stories. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to have a walk around the site here now and connect. But to everyone else, I'll see you all next week for another episode. Make sure you come back. It's going to be a good one. And thanks again to Eli and to Jase. Bloody legends. You know, this place is powerful. I've just had a walk around, and you know, the view, these trees, the beach almonds, the coconuts, the mangoes, and what's left, the remains of what was the old mission here. You know, this here is the mission house. There was a meat house, there was a kitchen, and there's probably more, like dormitories and stuff. It's just, there's a bit of a monument up there, but like, this is everywhere I go, these missions, and this true history that's just kind of hidden, you know, like, why are we not talking about this? I don't understand the history that we're taught in schools. You know, the history that we talk about in this country is because everyone's ashamed. I don't understand why, but the people that I meet out here in community, there's no hard feelings towards me or towards any other white fella. yes, there's a lot of hurt there and a lot that Aboriginal people in this country need to heal, and that's going to take both sides of the party. That's going to take help from non-Indigenous Australians as well, and we need to start working on that now. This stuff here should be, there should be school trips out to all of these different, to your local mission, and learn about what happened back then, why it happened. These churches coming in thinking that, Aboriginal people were heathens, is that the right word, and that they were worshipping the devil, basically, and that they had to worship, they were worshipping the wrong God, basically, and they needed to be saved. And they weren't allowed to practice their culture in any way. And these are things that we need to learn about, in my opinion, because this is so fascinating. And this is the true history of Australia right here, guys, right here behind me. Oh! As soon as I pointed the camera at you.
You bugger.
Alright, the camera's off, you're good to go.
Right, brother, we got the old tin meat, old hamper, spaghetti, some onion, some bread.
Some fresh bread.
The old boat pack.
Seems
Famous old boat pack.
it's like a tradition up here, eh? Seems that way.
Yeah.